concept. Tense. Past perfect 1. In the coming 2 lessons, we will talk about past perfect tense. In this lesson, we will first talk about the form of past perfect tense, and when to use it. Past perfect. Section A. Form. Had, plus, past participle. For examples: had played, had sung, had gone, had done. Examples: I had finished, I had not finished. Had I finished? You had finished. You had not finished. Had you finished? We had finished. We had not finished. Had we finished? They had finished. They had not finished. Had they finished? He had finished. He had not finished. Had he finished? She had finished. She had not finished. Had she finished? It had finished. It had not finished. Had it finished? Section B. When to use. Situation 1. Completed action, before something in the past. We use the past perfect to talk about an action which happened before another action in the past. Examples: after he had taken his music lesson, he made a telephone call. So, it's correct to say, after he had finished the meeting, he made a telephone call. Or, before he made a telephone call, he had finished the meeting. What had John done before he went fishing? He had repaired his car before he went fishing. The past perfect expresses the idea that something occurred before another action in the past. It can also show that something happened before a specific time in the past. Examples: I had never seen such a beautiful beach before I went to Koi. I did not have any money because I had lost my wallet. Tony knew Istanbul so well because he had visited the city several times. Had Susan ever studied Thai before she moved to Thailand? Had you ever visited the US before your trip in 2006? Yes. I had been to the US once before. Situation 2. Duration, before something in the past. Non-continuous verb. With non-continuous verbs, and some non-continuous uses of mixed verbs, we use the past perfect to show that something started in the past and continued up until another action in the past. Examples: we had had that car for 10 years before it broke down. By the time Alex finished his studies, he had been in London for over 8 years. They felt bad about selling the house because they had owned it for more than 40 years. Although the above use of past perfect is normally limited to non-continuous verbs and non-continuous uses of mixed verbs, the words live, work, teach, and study are sometimes used in this way, even though they are not non-continuous verbs. Important. Specific times with the past perfect. Unlike with the present perfect, it is possible to use specific time words or phrases with the past perfect. Although this is possible, it is usually not necessary. Example: she had visited her Japanese relatives once in 1993, before she moved in with them in 1996. Task 1. The following article is about a teenager who would like to share how important healthy living is. Fill in the following blanks using the past perfect or simple past tense. You can press the pause button and try to write the answer. Hello? My name is Harry. I used to be a fat boy. At that time, my classmates called me Fat Harry. I really had a lot of bad habits that had turned me into a fat boy. First, I was crazy for all kinds of food. I ate a lot of food, without considering how many calories I would consume. Second, I had never done any sports, until my health got worse, because the feeling of sweating made me feel so bad. Instead, every night before I went to bed, I had spent hours in front of computer, surfing on the internet. As I had not exercised enough, together with eating too much, my weight bumped up to 200 pounds. I had not taken this seriously, before the situation became worse. One day, I had a medical checkup, and the doctor said my condition was far from satisfaction. If I did not change my habit, I would get diabetes and high blood pressure. He also said, these two chronic diseases could cause other vital diseases, such as heart disease. I was afraid, so since then, I decided to change my living style. After I had eaten something, I recorded the calories I had consumed. I avoided eating snacks. I chose to eat healthy food more, such as fruit and vegetables. I regularly exercised, although I still didn't like the feeling of sweating. 3 months later, my weight dropped to 160 pounds. It was a miracle. I hope everyone can keep an eye on their health. Task 2. Fill in the blanks using the past perfect tense, or the simple past tense. You can press the pause button and try to write the answer. Living in such a busy city, we face different kinds of pressure. If we cannot handle it, it will affect our health. Jason and John are friends. They used to be secondary schoolmates. They studied in the same classes from secondary 1 to secondary 7. After he had completed A-level examination, Jason left Hong Kong to study overseas. Jason had stayed in the States for 5 years, before he came back to work in Hong Kong. One day, he met John by chance. They had not seen each other for nearly 5 years. John shared with him how he had suffered from work stress before. After graduating from university, John worked in a large firm. At first, he thought his life would be wonderful once he had entered that firm, because it is a famous company. Every day, he had tons of work to do. Even though he stayed in office for 12 hours per day, he still couldn't finish his work. Also, his colleagues would say bad words to him. Therefore, he did not have a good relationship with his colleagues. Every night, John couldn't sleep well, or woke up in between, because when he thought of going back to office, he felt troubled. Gradually, John feared of going to work. Luckily, his mother noticed his condition and asked him to see a doctor. The doctor taught him how to handle stress from work. After seeing the doctor, John felt much better. Therefore, if you feel stress from work or study, don't hesitate to find someone for help. Task 3. Fill in the blanks using the past perfect tense, or the simple past tense. You can press the pause button and try to write the answer. Everyone owns a smartphone. It contains so many functions that we cannot leave it even for 1 second. Do you think a smartphone can affect your living in a bad way? One night, Peter woke up from his sleep, as he had recognized the ringtone of his phone. It had started off a novelty when he first got it, but slowly it was becoming more and more aggravating. It was only 5 a.m. Now, do the exercise to test yourself. Bye. Exercise. Complete the following passage by filling in past tense or past perfect tense. Peter answered the phone. The other end asked if he was John. Peter answered with a grumbling voice. Sorry. Wrong number. Turning over to doze for a bit longer before getting up. Peter thought back over since he got his smartphone. Not only phone calls, he had also got quite a number of WhatsApps very late at night. He wondered why some of his friends stayed up so late. Originally, he had refused to get a smartphone like the rest of his friends, because he thought the more functions our phone had, it would be easier for a person to get addicted. Peter had sat and watched them text before, no matter where they were. Peter had entered into a world of technology, and his friends were going to ensure he didn't sleep through it.